And hello, this is Miscellaneous Mystery 48, and today I'm going to be showing you how to shade and light this 3D locomotive like a boss. This would be my very first Blender tutorial, and without further ado, let's get started. This beauty was created by none other than Light and Cold. If you want to check out his YouTube channel, the link will be in the description down below. So without further ado, let's get started. So firstly, what we're going to do is that we're going to add what's called an HDRI sky. If you don't know what that is, it's basically an image, a 360 image of a sky wrapped around the world, and it provides a lighting source. Not to mention realistic lighting at that. So in order to add this sky, we're going to go into the node editor, go to the world tab, and we're going to add an environment texture. And we're going to open up the sky. And the HDRI sky that I'm referring to, you can find on this website called Polygon, where you can find assortments of high quality textures and materials. You can start a free account and you'll get a certain limited amount of credits. But don't worry, the sky that we're going to be using is completely free. No credits will be used at all, and there are no catches. So let's open up this sky. Ah, here it is. Alright, so we're going to open up the JPEG. And we're going to connect our sky to our background node. This may take a while. Ah, there we are. Now, as you can see, we're not really getting a good result at the moment, but we can easily get a better result. Let me just get rid of that. We can easily get a better result by adding in a math node. Setting this to multiply and putting this down here and putting this in the strength. Hold on. Then we add another math node connected to that one and change this to add. Now we should get a more realistic result, and to help remove a lot of the noise, we're going to go into our world settings and enable multiple importance channels. We can set this to 2000. And there we go, it helped get rid of a lot of the noise. Firstly, let's just boost up our samples. Put this up to 50. And our render will be 100. Actually, no, let's just make that 150. Alright. And as you can see, our sky is not really illuminating our object that much. But let's see if we can tweak that. Alright, so I've just figured out how to fix our lighting issue. And the solution that I've come up with is to go into the world settings and turn on ambient occlusion and set that to 0.25. And after you do that, you're going to go over to the scene settings and go down to the color management tab and set the exposure to 0.128 and the gamma to 0.1449. And no curves. And then we get a result like this. Yeah, it looks better, does it? And now you can make out that awesome, realistic feel. Look at that, you could even see some of the sky reflecting off it. It's just gorgeous. Alright, now let's get on to the actual materials. We have our lighting done. This looks splendid. Now we're going to get into the materials. Now the materials I'm going to be using are called Physically Based Rendering Materials, or PBR. This little tab right here. Now the PBR materials you can easily find from this website up here. I'll include the link in the description down below so you can download it. Alright, so after you've downloaded the PBR materials, we're going to go with our first one, which is the boiler. Now the boiler, the material that it uses is called, let's just create a new material, name this boiler. Now this specific PBR material we're going to be using is just nothing but a simple dielectric. Let me go to the object nodes. There we go, dielectric. Now for the reflectivity, we'll set it to about 0.62 0.20. And for the roughness, we'll set at 2.12. Alright. And the color of this locomotive, we'll give it a black. Yeah, for the sake of this tutorial, we'll just make this locomotive black. Okay, so anywho, we're going to continue adding materials to the model. Alright, so we went ahead and named this boiler. And we're going to go to material. And for the material, we're going to go ahead and leave the reflectivity to 0.020. And then put the roughness to 212. Alright, so we're going to go to the dome. And we're going to go down to the drop down and find boiler. It's not there. Oh yeah, we forgot to name this boiler. Alright, so now we can go to the dome and find our boiler material, that is. And like I said before, I changed the viewport color so it would be easier to see it. Alright, now go to the actual boiler itself. And for the smoke box, we're going to have a separate material. So we're going to go ahead and create a new material right then and there. And then add another one, but go to the drop down menu and find the boiler. And now what we're going to do is that we're going to select the parts of the mesh that is the boiler. Press B to do box select. You don't have to do box select, but it works in this situation. Get rid of that. Alright, so now that we have the boiler section of this mesh selected, we're going to go over here to the boiler material and click Assign. There we go. Now we got that assigned. And now for the wheel splashes, we're going to go ahead and give them the boiler material as well. There. And for all these little parts as well, we'll go ahead and give them the boiler material. Your locomotive may not have this, but in this particular case, it does. So we'll just go ahead and give that the boiler material as well. In case any of you have a highly detailed locomotive like this one as well. Again, thank Light and Coal for pouring his heart into this one. I applaud him in his efforts. Alright, now that we got the boiler material and all the things that we're going to need right now. Hold on, let me go to the cab. This one already had a material to it, but I can go ahead and just remove it by selecting all of the parts of the material that were that color. You just go ahead and add a new material and select the boiler from the drop down menu, and then put that under this and then remove that. There we go. Now it'll be replaced with our PBR material. Let's just quickly see how this looks in rendered view. Yes, we're off to a good start. A great start, in fact. Alright, now let's continue. Alright, now let's continue. For the bunker, same thing, boiler. I know, and again, I know a lot of these parts are not the boiler, but they share the same material, so we're just going to go ahead and go with that. We'll put this one boiler. Also make this one boiler. Boiler. Yeah, for an engine with a lot of parts, this is fairly generalized when it comes to materials. Boiler. I'm just going to continue doing this. You can watch this in the form of a time lapse. Alright, let's do this. Alright, so these are all the parts of the mesh that I'm going to give the boiler material for now. It may change later, but for now, this is what we got. Alright, so the next material that we're going to add is the smoke box. So we're going to go to the smoke box. We'll start with the funnel because it's a separate mesh. And we're going to select the PBR material that is again a dielectric. But this time we're going to go in and give this a reflectivity of 0.094. And put the roughness at 0.212. For the smoke box, we'll make it a little bit lighter than the boiler. See how that looks in render mode. There we go. See, it's a little bit lighter. I know it may look super bright from here because, of course, there's a bright surface right below it, so it's going to react to that. We can easily fix that by going back in and select the mesh first. Select the entire mesh. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go over here where it says boiler. I'm going to deselect that. So only the smoke box is left. Now we're going to go to our first material and then find the smoke. I forgot to name it again. Smoke box. Now again, we're going to go back. We're going to go back and find the smoke box there. Alright. Now it doesn't look like it has it, but we're going to go down to the settings and set the viewport color down. But a little bit brighter than the boiler. Like that. There we go. Now if we look at that in rendered view now. You see that looks so much better. But it's still a little too shiny for my liking. So now we're going to dig deep. This is a group node, a node group. So we're going to press tab to go inside this group. And over here where it says power, we're going to click on the drop down. Then we're going to set this down to about 1. Yeah. Alright, and that's a lot better. Let me just set the material down. Yeah, I can make this a little bit darker. In fact, we can set the reflectivity down as well. There we go. And again, brighten it. There we go. Now we've got a smoke box. And again, just as before, I'm going to be assigning all the other parts of the mesh that use this material. So just sit back and watch this time lapse. Alright, I believe we've got them all. Now the next material we're going to do is the brass material. This will be used for the whistles and all other assortments of different parts, like these window frames. Alright, so now we're going to go in and make a new PBR material. And then go into this little tab that says metal. And under the metal, we're going to go over here where it says brass. And for the brass, we're going to set that to a roughness of 0.064. Now let's see how that looks in rendered view. And there we go. It looks very shiny. In fact, a little too shiny and reflective. Like so, just like with the smoke box, we're going to dig deep and press tab to go into this node group. And find the little drop down that says power. Then we're going to set this down to about 1. There we go, that did it. Alright. Now I'm going to be assigning all the materials that have brass in them. But not without editing the color a little bit. Let's make this a little bit more golden, darker. Just to see how that looks in rendered view. Yeah, that looks better. Alright. Now I want to make the viewport color the same color as the actual material. Now how we're going to do that is that we're going to go over here to the viewport color, find this little eyedrop tool, click on it, and then we click in the color of this box. Now when we go back to solid view, you can see that the viewport color now matches the same color as the actual material. Oh yeah, almost forgot. You got to name your materials. Come on, Miscellaneous Mystery 48, remember to name your materials. I know this is your first tutorial, but come on, you've been doing this at least more than 10 times now. Alright, now that we have all the brass materials, let's move on to our next one. The next material we're going to do is this little beam, or whatever it is right here. If any of you know the correct terminology of this beam here, go ahead and comment down below. I don't know everything about locomotives. But I do know a lot about 3D modeling. That's why I'm making this tutorial. It's about the shaders, not the names of the parts of the locomotive. Alright, so now we're going to start on our next material. Now for this material, this is going to be an aluminum. And we'll give this a roughness about 0.10. Yeah, not that much of a change. In fact, barely any change at all. See how that looks in rendered view? Alright, now let's just make that darker. And the same thing, this is a little too reflective. So I'll go ahead and bring this down a little bit. Let's try 1.9. No, 1.6. Yeah, that'll do. Alright, now same as the others, I'm going to be applying this material to other parts of the locomotive that have it. But I'm going to name the material now. There we go, I remember this time. I don't even care what it's called, all that matters is the material. Lower the viewport color. Oh, what the heck, we'll raise the roughness on it. Set this to 0.3. There we go. Make it a little brighter. Alright. Now, shall we? Alright, we got that material done. Now let's move on to the next one, which will be the buffers. Now the buffers are again made up of a dielectric node. This will give it a reflectivity of 0.037 and a roughness of 0.138. See how that looks from the view. There we go. Alright, now let's set the viewport color down, because we're going to be assigning this to other meshes. These buttons. For us. Alright, now remember to save all of your work. Alright, this is where I stop talking and we add the rest of the materials to the locomotive using the same process that we've used before. So just follow along. And now that we've got the last of the materials on this locomotive, let's see how this looks in rendered view. And there you go. Lighting and shading a steam locomotive like a boss. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And stay tuned for the next video. Probably won't be a tutorial, but still. Bye.